Here at LincUpLive, we're very proud to have Delphine Remy-Boutang from IBM over in Paris, and she's just given a presentation on IBM's social media strategy. So Delphine, the company very much has brand values and they persuade the employees to buy into those values. Just explain a little bit more, please.
Yeah, sure. Well, so IBM is a 100-years-old company, so we had to constantly reinvent ourselves. And how did we transform from what we are today, which is a social business? That transformation obviously didn't happen overnight. It's a journey that has started very much in the 90s, 80s, 90s, where IBM created the e-business, if you remember the E logo, where we really starting embracing the web, where a lot of company at the time was reluctant to do it. So we let our employees being the voice of IBM, because 460,000 IBMers is much more powerful way of talking instead of having one voice. So we have IBM official channels on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. But we allow for the IBM employees to be the voice as well. So the IBM brand is the employees.
Now, there's 17,000 employees blogging, and you've got a thing called, is it the Innovation Jam as well? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Jam is something that every time we have an idea that we want to create, and we create jams. So what jams is about is a virtual brainstorming that can be a global brainstorming. So, for example, we created the Social Business Jam in 2011. So we invited our clients, our partners, our employees to think about the evolution of social business and how at the time it was, we're talking about social media and how we moved that to social business. So, so we invited over 15,000 customers, clients, clients, employees, partners to talk about what does it take to be a social business. And we created a white paper that is available on IBM.com. And so every time we use the jams to really enable for the crowdsourcing, the ideas that comes from the employees. So we did a jam recently for the Mairie de Paris, so for Paris to learn to become a smarter city. So we invited 9,000 IBMers to jam, to virtually brainstorm about ideas about how Paris could improve and be a smarter city. So we're using jam a lot, and the IBM brand values has been created via the jam. So, so values created for IBM by the IBMers.
Delphine, how do you overcome resistance to change within a company like IBM?
So if you think about how email entered the companies 15 years ago, there was this resistance. There was the discussion about, we're going to give emails to just not too many people in the enterprise. It's going to be counterproductive. That's all what people are going to do. Well, today, that's all we're doing. So the transformation of email 15 years ago is what we're seeing with social networks. It's another way to communicate, a much more smarter way to multiply the effect. So I'm telling you something, but when I'm telling you something, not only you can see that response, but a lot of others. So I don't have to say it over and over again, for instance, for an answer on a subject that I'm the only one to have the answer on. I'm going to share that knowledge. And I'm going to share it differently than just via email. So the email transformation 15 years ago and the resistance of that's what is, we can talk about that. We can talk about helping people to, if there is resistance, let's talk about what about the emails 15 years ago where people was reluctant to do it. And now you wouldn't dream of working without emails.
It's become part of everyday life, and social media will be the same part of everyday business life in 5-10 years' time.
Absolutely. I mean, when I checked in yesterday in Lincoln, when I arrived and checked in Lincoln, and I was, tweeting about the lovely cathedral, and I had a couple of businesses at LinkedIn starting following me on Twitter. So they're social business, they're listening to people. And when I come back to Lincoln, I will know where I can go for a drink. And so it's little things like that really change the way of creating a relationship with people.
Sure. It's a connected world. Yes. Delphine, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.